Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fakrul Iman bin Muhammad Fuzi. I'm from DPT 3B. My matric number is F1043. My subject code is DJT 30022. Today we're gonna present to you about motto. My group consists 4 members, so each members will present to you one type of motor.
AC motors. What is an AC motors? The motors that convert the alternative current into mechanical power by using an electromagnetic induction phenomenon is called an AC motor. The stator and the rotor are the two most important parts of the AC motors. The stator is the stationary part of the motor, and the rotor is the rotating part of the motor. An AC motor may be single phase or three phase. Type of AC motor: synchronous motor and induction motor. Working principle of AC motor: an AC motor works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Why use an AC motor? Efficiency. AC motor have a high speed of torque characteristic which offer excellent performance without overheating, braking or degeneration. The performance of AC motor is why they are used in high demand application. Quiet. Since AC motor have a very low sound output, they are chosen for commercial environment where food is being served and customer service is essential. The sound of AC motor produce is a low hum. Single phase input. Part of the adaptability of an AC motor is how it can run using a single phase input for a three-phase motor, even though the location may not have a three-phase input.
What is DC motor? A DC motor or direct current motor is an electrical machine that transforms electrical energy into mechanical energy by creating a magnetic field that is powered by direct current. The current moves in one direction only, used in low power electrical appliance. The power source of the DC motor is battery. So next, let's look the type and main components of DC motor. The type of DC motor is DC brush motor, DC brushless motor and DC servo motor. The main component part is rotor, stator, brush, commutator and armature. Rotor function. Rotor is a part of the motor that rotates and is the part that receives electricity. It consists of an armature core, an armature winding and a groove. The armature core acts as an electromagnet and rotates when an electric current flows through it. Stator function. The does not move and only produces a magnetic field around the rotor so that the rotor can rotate when voltage applied. Rotor and the stator is one of the most important components of DC motor. Brush function. A brush is attached to the commutator as a bridge to transmit electrical energy from supply chain to the rotor. Brushes are usually made of carbon or graphite material. Armature function. Armature winding is used to produce a static magnetic field on the rotor. The last one is commutator function. The main purpose of the commutator is to channel electric current to armature winding. The main idea of how a DC motor works is the interaction between the north and the south pole produced by the armature winding and the field winding. The north pole produced by the armature will be attracted to the south pole produced by the field winding, and vice versa, producing a rotating motion from the rotor. The constant torque produced by this movement in one direction is called commutation. Example of using DC motor is mixer, fan, elevator, blower, lift, and so on. Advantages of DC motor: it has a good starting feature and speed regulation feature. Torque is relatively large. Maintenance is cheaper, more energy saving, and environmentally friendly than alternating current. Disadvantages of DC motor: more expensive to produce, with carbon brush, with a clear spark, and the last one is the carbon brush and commutator of the DC motor are worn out, so there is a higher life limit and noise.
Definition of stepper motor. A stepper motor is an electromechanical device which converts electrical pulses into discrete mechanical movement. Principle of stepper motor. The shaft or spindle of a stepper motor rotates in discrete step increment when electrical command pulses are applied to it in a proper sequence. The motor rotation has several direct relationships to these applied input pulses. The sequence of the applied pulses is directly related to the direction of a motor shaft rotation. The speed of the motor shaft rotation is directly to the frequency of the input pulse. Type of stepper motor. First is variable reluctance motor. Reluctance of the magnetic circuit formed by the rotor and stator varies with the angular position of the rotor. Second is permanent magnet motor. The permanent magnet stepper has a permanent magnet rotor which is driven by the stator's winding. They create opposite polarity poles compared to the poles of the rotor which propels the rotor. Third is hybrid motor. Hybrid motor is a combination of the previous two steppers. It has permanent magnet rotor and also a tooth stator. The rotor has two sections which are opposite in polarity and the teeth are offset. Advantages of stepper motor. First is excellent response to starting, stopping, or reversing. Second is it is possible to achieve very low speed synchronous rotation with a load that is directly coupled to the shaft. Third is the motor response to digital input pulses provide open loop control, making the motor simpler and less costly to control. The disadvantages of stepper motor. First is resonance can occur if not properly controlled. Second is not easy to operate at extremely high speed.
What is servo motor? Servo motor is type of motor that can rotate with great precision. Consists a control circuit that provide feedback of the motor shaft. AC servo motor and DC servo motor is one of the type. This motor consists three parts: control device, output sensor, and feedback system. It uses positive feedback system to control motion and the final position of the shaft. The working principle is very easy. It consists in DC AC motor, a potentiometer, gear assembly, and a controlling circuit.